At the same time, it sets the bar for sales performance from our console competitors. Can those competitors grow 73% in their first 90 days after a price drop? Well, we'll see. More importantly, though, we suspect it will be quite some time until someone can match our $99 price point. The value advantage in a value-conscious market clearly remains with Nintendo. Now next, we're fully deploying the familiar franchises that are so popular with the mass market. At the top of our briefing, we showed you 3 games designed to move the souls of even the most veteran gamer. And we're intent on expanding the GameCube's appeal. But we're not going to do it by ignoring the casual players who are just in it for a little bit of fun. On the show floor tomorrow, you'll see our market movers in action. A new Donkey Kong adventure, a new Pikmin, a move for Advance Wars to GameCube, and Mario making 2 appearances in Mario Party 6 and in Paper Mario. In all, Nintendo's GameCube library will grow to more than 400 games this year. And the common factor among all of them is fun. Now, new ways of interacting aren't just limited to the GameCube. Now, as you're all aware, Pokemon has again taken the market by storm in Japan with the new Fire Red and Leaf Green editions. They sold through nearly 2.5 million copies in less than 15 weeks. But there's a brand new kind of appeal here too. The ability to trade your Pokemon with your friends using the Game Boy Advance wireless adapter. This opens up whole new horizons for the creators. And in fact, you'll soon be seeing and playing wirelessly with more than a dozen titles. It's great software and innovation like this that have pushed every competitor out of the out of the portable game space, and 9 serious competitors have made a run at Game Boy in the past 15 years. But 9 have failed. Game Boy doesn't just lead the handheld gaming market, it owns it. The Game Boy franchise this year is also making a significant revolution because of this feature, Game Boy Advance Video. No new hardware or accessories needed to play back pre-recorded material from these small video packs. The first titles will include multiple episodes of Pokemon and others on one pack. Well, will it sell? Initial orders are already over 2 million units. You can look forward to soon to material with a decidedly older appeal, and will have significantly larger memory capacity to allow even more video playback. Well, wireless connection and video playback really widen Game Boy's appeal. But in an important sense, that appeal is already expanding. It may surprise you to learn that 1/3 of all Game Boy Advance SP users are over the age of 18. And our classic NES line, coming in June, will bump the age appeal even higher. The new limited edition classic NES hardware and 8 classic games for $19.99 are sure to be a hit with gamers over the age of 25. Now let me take a moment to talk about the newest competitor in the handheld game. There is no doubt in our minds that the PSP will have some initial appeal for exactly the demographic in this audience today. But in this election year, let me put it this way. By the time the PSP gets on the ballot next spring, more than 25 million Americans will have already voted for Game Boy Advance. Now, if you're asking whether PSP can catch Game Boy Advance, maybe we should first ask, can the PS2 catch Game Boy Advance? Since its launch in June of 2001, Game Boy Advance has sold more units than PlayStation 2 in America. For that matter, since its launch, the SP all by itself has done exactly the same thing. So we sit today with a roughly 100% market share of the handheld market. Will that decline? Well, it certainly can't go up. But that loyal base of 25 million Game Boy Advance owners is just the first of the many mountains that Sony has to climb. Game Boy Advance SP is built to be tossed in the backpack, carried in the briefcase, or even dropped in an airline terminal. With no internal drive, it stands up to a lot of abuse. And when it turns on, it lasts. The lack of a moving media also means that the gameplay powers on. We expect our battery life to significantly outpace Sony's. So we think that's enough to be a deal breaker for really true game players. Now finally, those of you who've been around our industry for a while realize that Game Boy at heart really is a platform like any other, built on the back of exclusive must-have titles. Game Boy never would have built its initial audience without the appeal of Tetris and Super Mario Land. Never would have leapfrogged into the sales stratosphere without Pokemon. These are games that launched only on Game Boy. Sony, just like Nokia and others, have to find a killer application before they can truly appeal to the mass market. So bottom line, Game Boy set an all-time record last year. We sold through more systems than any other year in our history. And now, with the wireless play and the video playback, suddenly that appeal is that much greater. In the end, though, it's still about the games. And this year, you'll see Donkey Kong Country 2, F-Zero 2, The Legend of Zelda, Mario Advance, Mario Party, and Mario Pinball, all coming to Game Boy Advance. Together, there's a heavenly array of hits for both Game Boy Advance and Nintendo GameCube. The stars truly are coming out.
What we've talked about today are can't-miss products for Nintendo GameCube and Game Boy Advance. Games you'll be playing very soon. But there's something else in our future.
I know that a lot of the portable gamers that we have, and there's millions of them.
I think the dual screen is going to be amazing. It's about changing the way you play.
I think that the dual screen is the next leap forward. It looks like it could be a really neat concept. It's two screen systems, never been done before. Well, I think everybody else is going to have to catch up.
All my friends are talking about the dual screen coming out, and I can't wait for it to come out. I can't wait to see it.
Well, the wait is over. This is Nintendo DS. From the time we announced its code name, you've known these initials to represent the most obvious feature, dual screens. But that's not what the initials stand for to us. DS has a much larger and more relevant meaning. DS, Developer's System. In creating DS, we've given the world's most talented game makers new tools to work with, new ways to express their imaginations, and of course, in the end, new enjoyment for all of us. The result is this. DS not only changes Nintendo, it changes our industry. You'll find Nintendo DS represents a brand new way for players to relate to their games and to each other. Listen to the experts.
Nintendo came down and presented the DS platform to us just about a month or so ago. I think everyone was in shock.
When I told the functions of DS to our creators, they were very excited and eager to work on new development. They really liked DS.
The introduction of Nitro, or the DS, is going to allow us to take handheld gaming to the next level.
The history of the platform in the last 10 years is that improvements were made on only certain functions. It has been a long time since the platform itself changed radically.
With the DS, I think they set the next standard across the board for all kinds of things.
It's going to generate such a new way of playing games that is going to generate automatically more emotion, more excitement, and more fun for the player, which is basically what we are here for.
Things will totally change. We will think anew what we want to express and what kind of things we want players to enjoy using this platform. We're expecting to change the contents of the game, how to play the game, and how to make the game.
The DS will continue Nintendo's great success in the handheld gaming market.
It's very innovative technology that is clearly focused on immersing the consumer into the gaming experience.
As a whole, the development community already understands what's going on here. I like to think of it like buying a car. Admit it, your left brain looks at a vehicle in terms of the numbers. What's the horsepower, the towing capacity, the 0 to 60? That's our competitor's approach. But your right brain is different. There's only one question out there. Sitting behind the wheel, where will this baby take me? In other words, do you want to go just a little bit faster down the same streets you've always driven, or down a new road to places you've never seen before? That's the difference with Nintendo DS. Let me explain how this new journey is going to happen. Up to now, most of what the world knows about DS are those two screens. Today, it's my privilege to tell you the rest of the story. But let's start with the two screens. Each is programmable in 2D or 3D. The choice is up to the game designer. This opens a wealth of options for the developers, and they're totally excited about it. The 3D quality is